see it from standing here. Okay. All right, you're live streaming. Super cool. All right, so we're going to talk about Word and OneNote, and then we'll move into Smart Notebook software. So the reason that we're going to talk about Word is because you have a touch screen in front of you. So you can do a few things that you might not have known that you could do before. So I want to show you that. So if you'll go to your Start menu, mine looks a little different because I'm in Windows 10. But if you'll look for a Word, if it's not just right there on your menu, and open up a Word document. Oh, this is a perfect example. I will use this.
We have 2016.
So you should have a blank Word document in front of you, but I wanted to show you how your pens are attached to this string, or if you don't have a string, it's kind of tucked into your Fujitsu there. So with your touch screen, you can, as you're teaching, I know that you'll be docked, but you might still have the opportunity to write onto the screen. And the other thing is, too, you can do this before you're actually in the middle of class, too. So this is a document that I recently had to fill out. It was already open on my docs here. And it's just something that they needed me to fill out. So at the top of the screen right here where it says pens, I can take my pen, and if you don't see that pens icon, then hover your pen close to the top of the screen there and see if you can get the pens to pop up. And so now you're just looking at a blank document, so that's fine too. You can pick a color, and you can fill this, you can just write on your screen. So I could fill out a document if I had it, which is nice. But if I just had a blank document, then you can write something. Now, I often find that people ask me to sign things, right? So you can open up the Word document, and at the bottom, you can sign. Yep, hover where it says pens. The trick is, though, this does not work then. I don't know if yours doesn't work with your finger today, but it will write, and if yours doesn't work with your finger, I guess. But if I tried to move it or scroll it with my finger, it's going to think I'm acting like a pen, even with my finger. So when I show you OneNote, I'll show you how OneNote's a little bit different. But you can actually do this. Do you use Outlook email? Do you use Outlook email? So you can actually do this inside of an Outlook email too. So you just get the same menu. You get a pens drop down, and then you can write inside of an email. So the trick is that you have to open a actual new email. So if you have a new email open, you don't have to do this on your screen right now, but just showing you, it will pop up and let you type or let you write in the email with a pen.
First open the document.
Is it just Word?
So Word and Word products will work. It will work in PowerPoint too. But it's not just going to work on anything. So it's kind of specific. Like, let's see what it looks like in PowerPoint.
What is that you're using in your
Surface. This is what we issued all of our teachers, is these Surface quizzes. PowerPoint.
So this is all Windows apps.
Yeah, all Microsoft apps will allow you to write in them with your pen. So again, my pens icon has come up here. So I can write, sorry, I have to actually select it, but I could write on my slide. So I could file, insert a new slide, and I have a new slide, and if I wanted to, I could draw on it. So you're,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm talking out loud.
You're fine.
I get it.
Another thing you can let you do is highlight and annotate. So you could use the highlighter. If you think this is cool, wait till we get to OneNote. So this will work inside of any of your Microsoft products. I don't know about Excel in terms of what we could get to with that, but we can always try it.
Publisher too.
Yep, Publisher should definitely work. Excel has boxes. It's not going to give you a lot of opportunity to write.
No.
I don't know what it might do. So that's just kind of one thing I wanted you to be aware of, right? So as a teaching tool, though, it could be helpful because if you wanted to circle or draw on your PowerPoints or on your documents, you could do that. So in OneNote, we're going to go to your Start menu again. This time you're looking for OneNote 2016. Looks like this, and it actually has the 2016 next to it. You might see a purple icon, but it doesn't say 2016, so make sure you pick the right one. And then you should get to, it's going to prompt you with a few things on that first screen. Yeah, OneNote.
2016.
2016.
Because there's two of them there.
Yeah.
Yep, not the purple one without 2016, the one that says 2016. Yep, that was it. That was right. What you were using. Purple one? Well, they're both purple. The one one's a- Alright, so when it asks you to sign in, just click the sign in button and then click skip or X out at the top. There's no skip. Yeah, it's going to ask you to sign in, but you don't have a sign in, so just X out the sign in when you see that button come up, and it'll just set it up. And then click yes at the prompt that says, do you want to store everything on this computer? And you say yes, and tells you where it's going to store everything. So, looks like we're almost there. You're still on your Word. Did you find OneNote? Let's find OneNote just so that you can follow along with what we're doing. You're
It
on
didn't do
OneNote. Did you
it
find it?
didn't
Yeah,
prompt.
mine is apps. It's apps.
Yeah, try all of them.
It's not opening?
All right, type in. Just start typing OneNote. There it is. All right, so click yes at that prompt. You click
So,
sign in and then
minimize that.
exit out. And then say yes to the next prompt. All right, so OneNote is a Microsoft tool, and it's very useful. So on the instruction side of things, you can do a lot of setup. Your students have Chromebooks, so we've kind of moved into the teacher instruction side because they don't have access to this tool. But you do, and you have the touchscreen, so you can do some interesting things with it. So at the top, you'll see that there are tabs. There's just like one maybe for you right now that says Quick Note, but you can add another one with this little plus button. And you can organize it however it makes sense to you, you know, kind of like a binder. The idea is this is like a digital binder, so you could have tabs inside of it. Then inside of each tab, you have pages over here that you can add to, and then once you put a title in this box, it will put that same title over here. So you can, it's kind of limitless, you can organize it however makes sense to you. So this will really work the best with your pen. So if you click on Draw and then choose your pens, and also remember that you can drop down your choices to multiple colors. And my son figured out yesterday that you can also click Color and Thickness and pick more colors, right? So kind of endless here in that regard. And you can write here as well. But the thing about OneNote that's different than Word is that you don't have to be linear anymore. So you can write over here. I need an actual pen. Say hello. And then you can type over here. So I can type here, and that creates a new box, and I can type here, and that creates a new box, and I can type here. So you can type anywhere, and you can move things around. And it's an endless canvas. So let me just show you some examples of some things I've been working on lately in OneNote. Right? So I was trying to think about how to explain to my teachers all the different support that we have for them. So I was just kind of doodling this stuff out here. I have all of the trainings that we're doing this week, and I was organizing them this way, and that was more of like a linear thing, but I could put them in boxes and move them around. This is a document that I just kind of took a bunch of notes on, so you can take notes, and when you flip your Fujitsu all the way around, it will lay flat. Have we done that yet? Okay. Yeah, so here's just like a little bit. It won't focus when it's not there.
Sometimes you got it.
Yeah, does it not snap down?
Yeah.
There's something with it I think you have to do before it slips in. There's something you have to do with it before.
See, it's not there. Okay, so then,
But it should be
There's something-
clicking.
I think there's something else you have to do. So I had this switch out here. Something else you have to do. Yeah, it works. It's just something.
so when you, it's clunky, but you can hold it up and you can do these annotations and notes on it. So you can be thinking about how you could use this tool. So this was a little mini lesson that I put together for a training. Let's see if I can. Is Zoom out anymore? So here's the other thing I want to show you how to do. You don't have a document on your files right now, but what you can do is you can print to OneNote. And then you can take your highlighter, and obviously it might actually be not sideways, but you can highlight and annotate and write on top of something that you've printed to OneNote. So you can print anything that you can print to OneNote. So if you go to a website and you want to print something, or you want to print a document that you have, you can do it one of two ways. So the first way you can do it is to go to Insert, File, Printout, right here. Insert, File, Printout, and then you can go get the document. So once I click that, it'll open up my window, and I can go find something that I want to print to it. But usually what I find is that I'm actually in the document, and I go File, Print, and I change my printer to Send to OneNote 16. So you've probably seen it before, right? This is always there. So Send to OneNote 16, and I'm going to click Print, and it's going to tell me my page margins, whatever. Maybe it's fine. I want you to print it. And then you see that my OneNote starts glowing over there because it's sent it to the OneNote. So now it pops up this, where do you want to save it? So I'm going to put it in my technology page, technology right there. I'm going to click OK. And then it's going to show up here as a printout, and it's going to load. And there it is. So now, this is a great teaching tool, because at this point, now we're talking projector, because I've taken the projector pin. I'm not using my pin on the computer anymore. I'm taking my projector pin. Okay, and I'm going to come up to the draw. You actually will have finger touch, we just talked about, on your projectors. And now you've printed this document into this OneNote, and you can click here and you can draw on this in class as you're teaching. So with your finger, or if you have pens, I think you'll have pens too. So if you have something that you want to talk through students with, or like I have one teacher who will do like fill in the blank notes, right? So she creates a Word document with her fill in the blank notes. She brings it up on the screen, and she will write in the word for the fill in the blank as she's teaching. Right? So now I've kind of moved into using my projector pen to annotate, and I can change the colors, and I can highlight the things that I want to talk about as I'm talking about them. So printing to OneNote is something that I use all the time. And it's also just a great way to like save stuff. Like whenever I see a website that I want to save, I'll just print it to OneNote and keep it in my tabs and have it for future reference. It's a nice little organization tool too. But I love that I can pick up my pen and write on it, because I can make notes about the things I was thinking about.
So printing to OneNote is just sending it to OneNote?
Yeah, it is, but it kind of follows the print steps. So when you think about how do I get it to OneNote again, just remember I print it there. So this is similar to the Smart Notebook software that you also have. And these two, I often find that I can interchange some of the tools between the OneNote and the Smart Notebook software, but the Smart Notebook has a lot more interactivity. So if you want to, you should have the Smart Notebook software on your computer. So minimize until you get to the, you know what, minimize until you get to your home screen, and you should have it right here. It's one of those for you. All right, so Smart Notebook is not, it's not Google, and it's not Microsoft. It's separate, so it's by Smart. But you can do the same thing we were just talking about, printing to OneNote. You can print to Smart Notebook too. So this is a way to, when you get to your projector and making your projector interactive, this is the tool that you can use for that. So I'm going to show you a document that I used with OneNote. I'm sorry, with Smart Notebook software.
Interactive just with whatever's on the screen. You have to be in the software register.
You have to be a Smart Note, but they're inactive for that day. It works in, remember, OneNote and Smart Note. That thing works.
As a writing tool. Now, it works as my mouse for everything else. So if I'm clicking, I can touch anything on the screen like I was, clicking with my mouse. But when you need to write on something or be interactive that way, then those are the two tools that are the best ones.
OneNote and
Smart Note.
It's Smart. But you can import files into both of those. So if you generated a PDF from something that you have, then print it to OneNote, as creative as you are, it's going to be off the chain.
All right, so I'm going to go back and I'll just use. Okay, so the cool thing about Smart Notebook software is that it has a lot of pre-made templates. So I'll show you where we find those in just a minute. But these pre-made templates will allow you to, now remember, yours is going to be finger touch. So if you have young students, like first graders, they can come up here and with their finger drag this. But I'm just going to drag it with my pen because that's what I have access to. So one other thing that you can do, which I thought was done on these, is when you have an icon in here, this one's locked right now, so I'm just going to quickly unlock it. And I'm going to duplicate it. This is probably one of my favorite ones, the infinite cloner. So any icon, any picture, anything that you can put in here, any shape, you can make it a cloning shape, and then you can bring it out, and it makes another copy of it. Cool. So I'll see if I can find it while we're kind of playing in a second.
Boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And they love to do independent clauses and dependent clauses. So they would come up and they would grab the right one and then add the independent clause from like my, kind of like this, from a shelf at the bottom. And they would add the independent clause and add the dependent clause. And then you can have them kind of create formulas with pictures and shapes that you create. So this is how you can kind of make it interactive. But the thing that's nice is that you don't have to make this from scratch. Like there are so many available to you, and there might be something already. And you can pull from tell you how to do that. Okay, this little picture icon. Do you have it on your screen? Do you have it open? Yes. So that little picture icon is one place that you can pull different images and things into your Smart Notebook interactivity. You can put so many things into here. You can import a PowerPoint into here, and it can come through as slides. You can import a document into here and annotate on it. So there's a lot of things you can do, but to make it interactive, is a great way to do that is to add images, duplicate the shapes, make them infinite cloners, and then create ways that they can move things around on the screen. And that could look so many different ways. So to find, I'm just going to minimize that for a second. I believe it's Smart Exchange, maybe? Smart Notebook Exchange. Yeah, it's called Smart Exchange. So this is definitely something we want to write down. It's exchange.smarttech.com. This is
Smart Notebook.
Is it? So it might be in there, but this is kind of where I started. So yeah, you might be able to go straight from Smart Notebook in. But then you can organize by grade level, by topic, and see all of these different teacher-created Smart Notebook activities that you can use and find ways to like make them work. Like this money one could be cool. So, but they're not all, I mean, they're all teacher-created. So you just click it and you download it. And then once it's downloaded, you can open it, and it'll open in Smart Notebook, and you can edit it from there. So they're all editable, which I always feel like that word is silly. editable. It feels like you're edible, like you're eating it. And see, we can. You kind of have to see what's associated with the different slides. And once you explore a little bit, you'll start to see what's available. I'm going to show you in a second how to make some shapes and change their colors and stuff, and then I'm going to let you play and create some slides in here so that just so you can kind of poke around a little at making some interactive activities. And I want to see if I can find my grammar one so they can show that one too. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Go back to this other one. I'm going to go to new so that I'm looking at what you're looking at. So from here, and this little plus button right here is where you add the new slides. So you can think about it like PowerPoint in that regard. So you're going to add a page. You can duplicate a page too. So if you made, I always found myself duplicating pages so that I could have another version of that one. So you can duplicate a page that you've spent some time in. At the top up here are things that you can add. These are your pens. And they'll pop out and give you the different options. On your new projector, you can have, well, I'm not sure what the finger touch is, but you can have two people interacting with the screen at the same time. So you can have two students up here interacting at the same time. So you can be thinking about that. These are the shapes. So once you pick that you want a triangle, you can draw it. And once you pick that you want a star, you just draw it. And then when you pick you want a different color, just click on, well, so be careful because it's going to drop stars until I choose my next icon, right? So then I want them to be orange. It's still going to drop stars. That was actually my line outline. So color. Oh, okay, so these are your two choices, your line color and your fill color. So then it will just drop me some stars in the color that I wanted. Or if you drag it, it'll make a bigger one. And you can select the different colors and things before you start drawing them. This is your eraser. It will erase everything. And this is like a little trick that Smart Notebook teachers always like this is kind of cool. You draw a circle, and then you hit in the middle. Maybe that only erases text. But if you have a bunch of text, you draw a circle around it, and you want to hit it in the middle, it'll disappear your text. So really you have to kind of be thinking about maybe how you want your students to be interactive with it. But once you have an idea or steal an idea from one of those sample exchanges, then you can start to play around with them. So anytime you've drawn something onto the board, you can tap it. Go back to your little mouse icon so that you can now tap it and edit it. And these shapes have these little down arrow, which is where you can make it the infinite cloner. You can link it to something so that as you're teaching, you can take you to a website, copy it, paste it, that type of thing. So this little down arrow right here helps you with functioning inside of there. So I'm going to let you play a little bit with Smart Notebook and OneNote, and I'll answer questions for you as you're working. I would say like inserting in picture would probably be a good thing to try so you're familiar with that. Trying some of these buttons just so that you can get a feel for it. And then let's also look at how you would print here. Let's go back to that Word document that I had open. So this time if I file print, but I choose Smart Notebook. Smart Notebook Document Writer is what I'm going to print to, but I think the question is, does it even show up? Convert as pages with images or pages with editable objects. So I want the objects to be editable. And then it's just going to bring it right in. Let's see what happens. because I was using Smart Art in Word. Okay, so it didn't really come in great. So it probably would have been better to come in as images for that particular one. But if you have something that you are working on in another program, you can print it to Smart Notebook, and then you can work on it here. The same thing with your PowerPoints. You can do the same thing. Print it to Smart Notebook. So I'm going to let you play a little bit and help you answer questions and explore before we end. We have about 15 minutes left. And if there are any other lingering questions, I'll let you come up and play with the board. Love for you to do that if you'd like, because this is what the projector, you're learning about the projector too while you're here. So feel free to come up here and make you a new slide. And you can pick your pen and you can write. I actually might dock the machine so that you can get the right effects. It's a little bit of a delay when it's not docked. Go in? Okay.
Let the big eraser.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Just check it with the air.
Yeah, that's just not explore. Because so I would say you should use Chrome, but okay, put it that way.
It's your turn. You get to go first. What am I doing? Here you go. Nice. Let's see if it's go next. Oh, you can do it again. Sorry. She's on the green. 9 minutes. Let's see if now I get the green. Oh, it's going.
Fine. Nobody said you had to be quiet while you were playing.
Before you can choose. Let's see if you're right. Yeah. Sorry, Valerie, your name would never get drawn. I don't know why I did that. Oh, now she gets.
So one other thing too, I was just thinking, like, if you did a presentation like this in Smart Notebook or in PowerPoint or any format, if you file and save as or export as a PDF, you can go and post it into Google Classroom for your teacher, for your students to see. So this one was the one I was telling you about with the independent clauses. This was like the lesson part of it, and then when we got over here, we would pull, yeah. So I talked about Tetris and how we were doing Tetris as a, and then how they needed to add these different pieces. So they had to pull down independent clause plus an AWUBIS plus a dependent clause. Like that was what we were learning. So they would come up and form the different parts of the sentences with the interactivity. So if you can just create shapes that have words in them and then clone them and have students arrange them in the right order. else did you want access to? You've got my PowerPoint or slide deck that I started with, that intro to slides activity, and then the Google Docs scavenger hunt. Did you want something else? Just make sure I have it. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Teacher time, up your work. Oh, but I didn't. You can see that.
Oh, that's okay. Anything? Anybody need help with anything? Figure it out. Did you download that one?
This is in
Game creator.
Yeah. Will we click anywhere? The whole thing froze. Try
Oh,
okay. Sometimes that works.
yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, because oh, that might be the responders, yeah, responders, and then they see it on their screen.
Because I think you also have them.
Is it specific clickers for?
The Smart Notebook has some specific clickers.
They do.
And there's some other tools, like, you can do that question I did with Google Classroom if you want. But then there's, things like credit is a tool that will allow you to do this like quizzes.
Yeah.
I have, but they're not smart clickers. And then there's one called Flickr, which will allow them to like hold up a response. They don't. It's just. Yeah. Well, there's an app that goes with it or something, so you like use the camera in the app to see if they're responding. And then yeah, so there's some other tools that like you can Google like student response tools or student quiz tools and see what you find.
Yeah.
And they'll work, most of them will work on Chromebooks because they're just web-based. Anything that works on the web will work on your Chromebook. Pretty general statement, but usually true.
Right, because it's all web-based, yeah, it's on the internet.
Do you want to get your charger? And just as a note, as we leave, your chargers are plugged in, so you might want to get the one that's labeled with your name.
You switched it. This is the broke one. I'll just let him know, because I don't have to go back, take them off.
This is a recording.